Hello, my nerdy investigators, and welcome to this episode of Does It Hold Up? Today we're taking a look at Disney's animated classic, 1997's Hercules, a film that gets me laughing, singing, and reminiscing about the golden age of the Disney Renaissance. Let's crack open this case file and dive into what makes this version of Hercules a classic, and whether it holds up today. Story recap. Our story opens with the Muses giving us a musical rundown of the Titans' defeat before zooming in on Mount Olympus, where Zeus and Hera are overjoyed with the birth of baby Hercules. Zeus creates Pegasus as a gift, and then Hades crashes the party. Back in the underworld, we learn that Hades is plotting to overthrow Olympus. He consults with the Fates and hears the prophecy.
You, Hades, will rule all!
Yes, Hades rules!
A word of caution to this tale.
Excuse me?
Should Hercules fight, you will fail.
Cue the meltdown.
What? Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Hades decides to get rid of Hercules by sending his two very underqualified henchmen to do the job, because that always works. They do manage to get close enough, and Hercules drinks almost all of the potion that would make him mortal, and thus killable. He loses all his godhood, but does keep his strength, and beats the henchmen to protect the kind mortal couple who are going to take him in. The Muses sing us forward to a teenage Hercules. Strong but clumsy, not quite fitting in. After a disastrous day in town, he sings his I Want song and heads off to find answers. At the Temple of Zeus, he learns his true origins and reunites with Pegasus. With Zeus's guidance, he seeks out Philoctetes,
Call me Phil.
the satyr, to begin his hero's training. Phil, disillusioned after a string of failed heroes, only agrees to train Hercules after Zeus literally strikes him with a lightning bolt. Then we get the first of two iconic montages, which is him going from scrawny to buff. And with this, Herc is ready to test his skills in the real world. Enter Meg.
Are you all right, miss?
Megara. My friends call me Meg, at least they would if I had any friends.
After saving Meg and the town from disaster, Herc's fame takes off, and we get the second iconic montage. But when Zeus tells him that it's not enough to earn back his place on Olympus, he is crushed. Meanwhile, the planets align and Hades is ready to launch his takeover, but he needs to get Hercules out of the way. So he offers Meg her freedom if she uncovers Herc's weakness. As she and Hercules spend more time together, they start to fall for each other, giving Hades exactly the leverage he needs. When Phil tries to warn Hercules about Meg, it backfires, and he leaves. Hades swoops in, making a deal with Hercules to give up his power for 24 hours in exchange for Meg's safety. Then Hades drops the bombshell. Meg's been working for him all along. Ouch. With Hercules' powers gone, Hades unleashes the Titans and sends the Cyclops to crush Hercules. Meg goes to Phil to find help because Hercules is no longer listening to her. And with Phil's help, against all odds, Hercules defeats the Cyclops. But just as this happens, Meg saves him from falling debris and is injured, thus restoring his strength. With his strength, he races off to stop the Titans and Hades and to save Olympus. But just as he does, Meg dies. Determined not to lose her, Hercules enters the underworld and offers his life in exchange for hers. His self-sacrifice makes him into a true hero and restores his godhood. He punches Hades into the River of Souls for good measure and saves Meg. Back on Olympus, Hercules is offered immortality, but turns it down. He chooses to stay on Earth with Meg, and we wrap things up with a joyful montage of dreams coming true. The villain who stole the show. Hades completely steals the show. From the moment he bursts onto the screen in a blaze of blue flames and biting sarcasm, he shifts the entire energy of the film. Voiced by James Woods, Hades isn't your standard Disney villain. He's not evil just for evil's sake. And even if you don't know a thing about Greek mythology, one quick exchange with Zeus tells you exactly what he's about.
But unlike you gods lounging about up here, I regrettably have a full-time gig that you, by the way, so charitably bestowed on me, Zeus. So, can't. Love to, but can't.
Hades is something else entirely. He's fast-talking, sardonic, teetering on the edge of a full-blown meltdown, and somehow he manages to be both hilarious and genuinely threatening. There's a simmering chaos to him. You can feel he's a god under pressure, juggling divine timelines, elaborate revenge plots, two of the most incompetent henchmen in existence, and one very sarcastic, soul-traded femme fatale. And he is so done. And the way he cuts through other people's emotional moments, impeccable. When Meg's gushing about Hercules, his deadpan delivery,
Please.
He would never do anything to hurt me.
He's a guy.
lands perfectly. It's rare to get a villain who can be both a punchline and a real threat, but Hades walks that line with ease. Fun fact, James Woods loved this character, really loved him. He voiced Hades in every spin-off, TV show and video game that would have him. And it's been reported that when the movie was running over budget, he even offered to give back his salary just to help them finish it. It wasn't needed in the end, but that kind of passion shows, and it's part of what makes Hades so iconic. The emotional core. On the surface, Hercules is a story about a kid who doesn't fit in and goes looking for answers. But what he finds is something even more meaningful, in the form of two jaded, wounded people who've stopped believing that life could be better. Hercules, Phil, and Meg start off disconnected from the world in their own ways, and by the end, they've found purpose, belonging, and each other. They each carry wounds from their past, and it's through their connection that they begin to heal. Hercules needs Phil to learn how to control his strength and channel it productively. Sure, getting buff helps him look the part of the hero, but more importantly, it means that he's no longer a danger to the people around him. Thanks to Phil's training, he learns not just how to fight monsters, but how to move through the world in ways that help, not harm. It's a step towards being accepted, not just admired. With Meg, Hercules learns to connect on a deeper, emotional level. She's the first person he meets after his training. She isn't impressed or scared of his strength, and she's not looking to take advantage of him. That emotional bond is what gives him the strength to become a true hero. Phil, the grumpy goat man, with a list of failed heroes under his belt, has completely withdrawn from the world. He doesn't believe in dreams anymore. Not Hercules, and certainly not his own. But Hercules does reignite that spark within him. And with a little divine encouragement from Zeus, Phil decides to give it one last shot. What makes it beautiful is it's not just Herc who believes in Phil, but Meg too. Meg isn't central to Phil's arc, but without her, he never would have come back. He would have taken the boat and left Hercules to face the Cyclops alone, but she convinces him to stay and fight.
If you don't help him now, Phil, he'll die.
Both Meg and Phil refuse to give up on Hercules, no matter what. And look, I have to say, Meg is one of my all-time favourite characters. She's just so layered. Her backstory is devastating. She sold her soul to Hades to save someone she loved, only to be betrayed. And somehow, she still finds the strength to open up again. Watching her slowly learn to trust through her time with Hercules is one of the most compelling arcs in the film. There's that moment when she realizes maybe not everyone is.
You wanted to be petty and dishonest?
Everybody's not like that.
Yes, they are.
And it's Hercules' respect for her that changes everything. It's a tiny gesture, him pulling her sleeve back up instead of ogling her, but it says so much. He sees her, not for what she can offer, not for her past, just her. Even when everything is falling apart, when the truth about her past with Hades is exposed, Meg doesn't fall back into old patterns. She knows who she is now. She's grown. And that's what gives her the strength to push past her pride and go to Phil for help. She risks everything to protect Hercules. She sold her soul for a guy before, but this time, it's different. She's not acting out of guilt or desperation. She's acting out of true love. And in the end, when he becomes a god, it's Meg who walks away because she doesn't want to hold him back. Death couldn't keep them apart, but godhood might. That moment is heartbreaking. But Hercules makes his choice. He gives it all up for her. Phenomenal soundtrack. The soundtrack in this movie is godly. Honestly, I could do an entire video just on the music alone. The gospel-style narration of the muses is engaging. It builds the world, sets the tone, and gives Hercules a distinct sound that none of the other Disney Renaissance film could match. Songs like Zero to Hero and A Star is Born are bustling with energy and give the film so much life. They're not just catchy, they help move the story forward while making you want to dance along. And One Last Hope, sung by Phil, is this perfect mix of comedy and heart, disguising a training montage. Then we've got Go the Distance, the quintessential I Want song. And once you've seen the whole movie, the lyrics hit even harder. Lines like "When the crowd will cheer when they see my face" mirrors Hercules' fame arc, while "I don't care how far, somehow I'll be strong" becomes a kind of prophecy for him descending into the underworld to save Meg. Maybe it's a lost misfit in me, but this song gets me every time. And from one favourite to another, I Won't Say I'm in Love is honestly one of the most underrated Disney love songs of the Renaissance. It's full of denial and hesitation, and it's so perfectly Meg. After everything she's been through, of course, she doesn't want to admit that she's falling. But the quiet little moment with the flower, that's when it hits her. And us. This soundtrack lifts my mood every single time I put it on. It's soulful, funny, heartfelt, and just so good. Quotable and funny. One of the reasons Hercules is so endlessly rewatchable is that it's not just funny, it's smart funny. The humour isn't limited to one-liners or slapstick, though there's plenty of that too. It's layered throughout the whole film, from visual gags to self-aware quips that make you feel like the movie's in on the joke with you. Let's start with the dialogue. Meg alone delivers some of the most iconic lines in Disney history.
I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. I can handle this. Have a nice day. Aw, how cute. A couple of rodents looking for a theme park.
She's the anti-princess, and the film knows it. Same goes for Hades, who is basically a quote machine.
Whoa, is my hair out?
Guys?
Olympus would be that way.
His comic timing is razor sharp, and even his throwaway lines stick with you. Or how about the bit where Pain and Panic yell,
Somebody call IXII!
instead of 911. But it's not just the writing, it's the visual comedy too. The film is full of sly references and blink it you'll miss it jokes. Like when Hercules throws a lion pelt onto the floor, and it's Scar from The Lion King.
He'd make a very handsome throw rug.
Zazu.
And just think, whenever he gets dirty, you could take him out and beat him.
Even the way the characters move feels designed for laughs. The muses strut and spin like they're heading for a Broadway show, occasionally having to catch up with someone else. Pain and Panic morph into anything from snakes to rodents, desperately trying to blend in. And Hades, every twitch, meltdown, and flaming hair flip is pure comedy gold. But here's the kicker. For all the fun and flair, the movie never loses sight of its emotional core. Hercules balances genuine heart with hilarious chaos, and it never undercuts one from the other. You laugh, you feel, and that's what makes it so special. So, does Hercules hold up today? Without a doubt. It's bold, vibrant, and unafraid to be a little weird, in the best way. This is a film that knows exactly what it wants to be. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It gives us a story that's uplifting and honest about identity, love, and what it means to be heroic. It leans into humour without sacrificing emotion and wraps it all up in one of the most distinct and joyful soundtracks in Disney history. For me, Hercules is a classic comfort watch. It makes me laugh, it hits me with the feels, and it reminds me that strength isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up with heart, especially when things are hard. And after this rewatch, I love it even more. And that is another case closed. Let me know in the comments what your favourite moment from Hercules is. Is it Meg's sass, Phil's sarcasm, or are you like me and still belt out Go the Distance when no one's around? No shame, this is a safe place here. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And as always, thanks for watching, and let's see what other secrets we can uncover next time on Nerdy Investigations.
For a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart.